All right, hello. This is Alexander Wales. What are we doing today? Today is the exclusionary document again. So I guess here it is. This is a rare early stream for me. It's like 10 a.m. local time. I'm doing it early because it's gonna get warmer later in the day, and I will need the fan on and possibly to hide out downstairs. It's not gonna be like super warm. It's gonna be in the 80s Fahrenheit, 80, 82 or 83, I think the weather report said. Whatever. Word count is 26,349. So I was, before we get started, thank you, Empiricist, for pointing out that this is a totally possible thing to do. But you can go and you can see sort by color. So these are all the ones that have an entry. I wish you could. There's probably some way to put in a thing there to just like say, hey, just give me a count, give me a sum of all these rows. A lot of these do not have dates. They will get added later. I mean, they're already in the doc if they're here. These are the story-centric ones that need to be done. And these are the ones we're doing today. Possibly both. And then this is everything that this is everything that does not have that has not been done at all. Like, most of the information exists within this doc. So I think possibly today I will go through and work on this. Possibly go through and like add stuff to this particular section of the totally undone things, because like constriction magic has no even description or anything. Like they don't, the name can come later. Name's not super important, but like we've got, these are all cause for concern for me, that they have no description at all. I don't know why there's a blank one there. Why is there a blank one there? Okay, I'll just delete row. Sure. This one is just like, I think there's one extra person one because one of the supposed people isn't real. And then these are most likely to get cut. Not all of them, but these like dead ones, this is like extra work that does not need to be done. So there's still a frightening amount of work to do. But for today, we are working on breeding. Oh, and also one of the funny things, not like funny haha, but if I can find it, oh, it's gonna be up in the chat. Oh, and I wanted to add this. This is from Bacon Time. Helpfully found a bunch of. Bacon Time helpfully found a bunch of words. We're gonna try to use some of these. Because it's funny stuff. And then one's from Daniel, says Pez. Just because that is in the flavor of Worth Candle. Anyway, I was going to say we've done 32. 32 zones are first pass complete. So if we do count, it's 26,000. That comes out to be, I'm sorry for using a calculator, 26,000 divided by 32. We get 812 words per entry, which puts us slightly on the high side of what's expected here. I think that's fine. I just want to do some bookkeeping and look at some of the stuff. I said after I did 10 of these, I would look at the whole doc and like try to figure out like what, if anything, needs to be changed. And I did not do that, and I have not done that. And I will not do that. So this was last time. This was... Let me get my thing back up. This was last time. This is the creationism exclusion zone. And I think we're just rolling straight into Papillion. All right, so this is all the mentions of butterfly magic. And it's one that gets a fair amount of mention because I liked the image of it a lot. I liked the idea of it a lot. So it gets like 3 separate mentions in Worth the Candle. But they're all vague. I think that, butterfly mages were capable of altering probabilities. They traveled with cages of butterflies and released them at specific times and places. Obviously, there's a reference to the butterfly effect. I'm going to just mute Discord real quick because I didn't realize it's unmuted. And then mute my volume on my computer so it doesn't like deafen you when I make a mistake. Okay. From the make idioms into magic phase, this is butterfly effect is not an idiom. Maybe it is an idiom. Butterfly effect is a thought experiment rather than an idiom, in my understanding of the difference between the two. But maybe it's also an idiom as well for a small thing that causes a large and unexpected change. Okay. Here, Parasev compares it to the Pathists. Okay, and this is a bigger thing. This is from the world building doc, that the butterfly magic was one of the time related magics under the aegis of Claw and Clocks, Athenaeum. And then just says that this was excluded, but it does not say when. I think all this is going to be deleted now because I'm not going to delete it yet because possibly I'll need to refer to it, but I'm going to move this stuff up, and the last thing we do will be to delete that reference. I don't think I need any of that reference though. I just like going through and gathering reference to make sure that I'm not missing something super obvious. Should this... PPEZ. Okay. And it is... Did I reference Bacon Times thing? Doesn't have a type. Minor. Ratoon. Okay, so this one I was thinking about last night a little bit. It's funny that I give the name up here, and I always like repeat it in the nature section. Funny and dumb. There's like, arguably I can go through and just remove the sentence that refers to it, or just remove the name field or something. I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave the duplication just in case, I don't know. it's not a big deal. It's just I was thinking about that. Minor means that people can live there with some difficulty. I'm going to actually double check that. The exact wording on minor. It's one of those things I just haven't done since I started. Yeah, not much more hostile than hot desert or Arctic expanse. Good morning, shoe cream. Yeah, so earlier stream, I have had my coffee, have not eaten though, so we'll see how this goes. Mostly, I think I want to start on history rather than this, because history I understand a little better. I'm not sure I understand what's cool. I understand what's cool about butterfly magic. I don't know that I understand what's cool about the zone itself yet. I think possibly magic just, like, butterfly magic still works and is practiced within the zone. But I'm trying to think about that. Mostly I was thinking about wizards going around with, like, cages of butterflies that they release. That single image is cool and interesting to me. It's very evocative. Like, I can see it really well in my head, and it's kind of the basis for why I wanted this to be an exclusion zone. I don't know that that's the best. I think usually you find, like, one or two things that, like, spark the imagination, and you roll from there. And that's how you get something that's, you know, compelling enough for inclusion. Possibly when I am done with the exclusion doc, I will I think it was pathism. But these are all of the references to butterfly magic that I could find. If you can find a different one, please let me know. But here, I can go through real quick and double check, because I don't want to type something up and then just have to be like, oh. Butterfly petals. Oh, that's a fight. That's something. There's the butterfly knife. Butterfly magic is excluded. That's all that says here. This is when they're in the Infinite Library. Parasev says here about butterfly mages. Butterfly effect is used colloquially here. Yeah, the pathists are different. Pathists are mentioned a lot more, and there's not pathism. I would have to double check that this is not contradicted by the text, but I always had the idea that pathism was not excluded. That there was, like, one surviving pathist out there. And then, like, because the pathists are, it's basically Contessa's path to victory as a magic system, except that there are a bunch of them, and then they, like, conflict with each other, and also their paths are more narrow and or more narrowly defined and singular, and they take less into account and some other stuff. But yeah, the idea that there that there was a single pathist left, and that a lot of the events of Worth the Candle were like his this single pathist's doing. I thought it would be funny to have a pathist have set like, or to have believed himself to have set everything up like 200 years ago and just be like waiting in a cave for all this stuff to happen, and then for him to like come out at the very end of the story and be like, I did it. And then just like get told off by the dungeon master. It's like, hey, I just need you out of the way, man. Like, you didn't do any of this stuff. I just it wasn't funny enough, and it like it didn't justify itself. But that was an idea that I had that like in serial writing just doesn't pan out. So pathism has no exclusion zone. It's not on the list at all. Butterfly magic is different from pathism, and largely in that there's it's like you release the butterfly and then you are assured some future outcome. I need to think about this a little bit more, but yeah, it would have made more sense in an epilogue. I just never. It was like funny. I think I was getting burnt out at the time, so I don't know. I did not end up doing it, so it's not canon. But that was the idea that was in my head, and it's just one of those things where there's like a tiny bit of setup that never gets utilized. Okay, and I know I'm talking a lot and writing not very much. Whatever. Okay, I'm just gonna do a brief thing on magic that is not actually all written out. Okay, right. I don't like the breeding thing. Yeah, I've been doing a lot of writing. I've been writing across like 4 or 5 projects, or including writing and editing. I think it's 5 projects at the moment, which is maybe a little bit much, but I think when you have the willpower to do it, it's a good idea to do. fingers are off position. Hey, Bishop. Okay, I just gotta stretch my fingers real quick. I meant to do this before the stream. Really trying to keep these hands healthy because they are necessary for writing, unfortunately. Wreaked havoc? Wreaked havoc? Okay, tell me. Wreaked. Okay, yeah. Okay. I'm gonna shut my window real quick and lower the noise. Yeah, what does it want to... Images. Butterfly images. I know this does. I know this does nothing. Okay. So you're like, yeah, we won't suggest this anymore. And then you like don't correct the other place that it's suggested for the same thing. Like they even lie about what they're doing. I just is the kind of thing like I keep it on because maybe half the time it's useful. And then the other half the time it's just nonsense. It's just like not paying attention to the actual context of the words, or it's paying attention to the context wrongly. It's like this is a fantasy document. Like I don't know. It's irritating. Yeah. No, I scream into the void with that feedback quite often because I find it cathartic. I'm not correcting this to polities. Partly because I don't feel like it, partly because it's pre-Eutherian, and I like this idea that the switch over to referring to everything as a polity happened later. General AI is just 5 years away. Yeah. Heard that in like 99 and 2004. Singularity is near. I was like, yeah, we're so close. And I mean, to be fair, we are closer. Like, the large language models are great. Scaling is great. I think I have had enough AI optimism to sour me. Okay, are you gonna you? It says it wouldn't make that correction in the future. Like, why? It's one thing to just have that feedback go into the void. It's another thing to lie to the user and say, oh yeah, we won't make that correction for you again if you think it's wrong. and then I immediately get the same Pokemon. You know, I'm actually going to do this. I do like. I like the idea of this being a bad luck zone. I'm trying to think about. Am I correct in saying that the financial markets are a good example of a chaotic system? When I think of chaotic systems, I mostly think about weather, I think about turbulence, I think about anything with particles in it. I do need to drop the word anti-fragile. Okay, fine. Just that's why I keep spell check on. Brownian motion. Yeah, Brownian motion. I also think of Brownian motion. That was Einstein's thing, right? It's like one of his first actual contributions was some insight into Brownian motion. I like the idea of defeating magic through the power of bureaucracy. I like more the idea of kind of accidentally defeating magic. Like you establish a bureaucracy, and all of a sudden this magic just gets worse. Um, I don't think that they necessarily had beef with Uther, or even like necessarily knew that's what was happening. Hurricanus? Hurricanatrix? Hurricanatrix? Be like a female hurricanist? I don't like that windfall. I will probably come back to Hurricanatrixes. I don't think it's... Water mages, so... the idea for butterfly magic... okay, so any future sight thing needs to take account of all other future sight things. And, or needs to, like, explicitly not work with those other things. The idea for is in Worth the Candle is that the pathists, it goes pathists, butterfly mages. No, it goes infinite library can see what the pathists are doing. Pathists cannot see the impact of the infinite. Okay, I think pathists are below the infinite library or above it. I need to think, but I had something like this written down at some point, but the idea is that is that the all of the predictive magics, of which there are not very many, are in tiers, and have like specific loopholes, like infinite library has the doesn't ever take into account the exclusionary principle. So that's like a gap in what the infinite library, what its predictive powers can do. And it also doesn't take into account anything that the infinite library is going to do. Like, it doesn't take into account people leaving the library and what effect that's going to have. And it doesn't take into account people coming into the library or what effects that is going to have. So the infinite library doesn't account for itself and doesn't account for the exclusionary principle. Those are the two limitations that it has. I think pathists within Worth the Candle do take into account everything the infinite library is going to do. But their pathists are kind of a non-issue because, like, they died off in Utherian times. Or all except for one who's not canonically still sitting aside. Either Uther killed all the pathists, or there's, like, one pathist left, and he's like doing his own thing, or he set up some of the events. I always hated that about Worm. So it was kind of like a taking the piss thing, or whatever. So, and then Butterfly Mages don't take into account anything Pathists do. So Pathists screw with Butterfly Mages. They don't take into account anything the Infinite Library do. So the Infinite Library screws with Butterfly Mages. But then Butterfly Mages take into account like every other thing below that on the tier. So they would take into account Water Mages. This might be a place to explain this, except that the author of the Exclusionary Principle 9th edition would not know about the Infinite Library. But priority, loopholes, accounting, etc. And like the Pathists have the Pathists have, like within the Pathist magic, there's a strict numerical ordering of Pathists. So the prime Pathist can see everything that all the other Pathists are going to do, and take into account. It takes all those into account when determining his path to whatever. And then every Pathist who's below that takes into account everything except for all the Pathists above that. So the second Pathist can't account for the impacts of the prime Pathist, which like severely limits their ability to create a path. And so on. And so if you're a low Pathist, and there's like another Pathist working in the same city, etc. Yeah, so Pathists are known, like, at the time of this document. Like, so I could include Pathists, I can include Water Mages, I can include, like... So I might include that. I think it would go right here. And I think it's interesting enough. I think it's interesting enough for inclusion, at least somewhere. It's the kind of thing that makes more sense, possibly in the world building document, but that's already so incredibly bloated. And it's also like a footnote on a magic that's not present in the story, and not present at the time. Like this one's excluded, right? This one's excluded 400 years before the story starts. Entads would have a strict priority over each other. I don't want to break out MS Paint, but the Entads have are already ordered. They're on like an XY axis grid that assigns their magic plots over the and so they're already ordered. It would need, I mean, it could be random priority, but it would make more sense to me to not have it be random priority. I mean, it would probably feel random, but to individual people, but you could, because there's already it can already fit into an ordered list. There's no reason that it couldn't have a strict priority based on its location in the magical gradient or whatever. Yeah, that's true. Water mages would screw with Butterfly Mage would take account of the Water Mage, but the Water Mage wouldn't necessarily, like, you can't just like straight up defeat a Water Mage through the power of chaos because they're anti-chaos. That's a good point. Priority and junk, that's how you can tell I'm a real author. Okay. Do you like this? This is the unintended side effect. Who could have predicted? Okay. Uther starts his reforms, and unexpectedly, as a result. All right. Oh, my wife always says it's great that I can laugh at my own jokes, because very often. Oh, I'm the only one who finds them funny. No, that is funny. That's objectively funny. Okay. Oh, it's so close. Internecine. Now, see what a butterfly mage can do against a water mage is, I was gonna say something more clever, but just kill them, right? If you need to take into account the butterfly mage, you can release your butterfly at a time when that butterfly will cause some random happenstance that stops the water mage from arriving in the area, or stops the water mage from being able to perform their magic, or just kills them dead or whatever. Maybe that is interesting enough. Here. Yeah, I'm definitely not getting this one done in the hour. I like to be able to do one of these in an hour, because that means that's a good pace. I've been talking way too much this stream. But you know what? I'm having fun, so that's fine. We'll go war. We could do a comparison to Elf Luck. I think we'll have like one paragraph. I don't know if Elf Luck will be in there, but possibly. But the thing that makes Butterfly Magic good is it's so high up. I mean, other than the normal stuff, is that it's so high up in this sort of vague priority system. Like what Future Sight takes in other Future Sight into account. I want to double check timeline. 81, so yes. I don't think it's ever said how long the internecine wars lasted. What does that mean? I know it means something interesting. Destructive to both sides in a conflict. Okay. Okay, move all this I'm also going to remove all this. Yeah, there's Druidic Future Sight, but that's unknown. Can't forget about... Not Druidic Future Sight, it's a Druidic Ritual. Which I believe is above the library. I don't remember if the library knows about that one or not. But obviously the Dungeon Master is above everything. Which is funny. Because, like, people are like, oh, I'm at the top of priority, and then the plot can just happen anyway. It doesn't usually, but it could. Like, I would never write it like that, where, like, there's some prophecy and then the prophecy just doesn't happen because the plot happens instead. Okay, saying that, maybe I would write it like that, but it would be for the point of writing it like that. It wouldn't be just to be dumb. Okay. Okay, features. Put spell in quotes because it's... Still persists in the, what do I call it? The PPEZ. This is also one of those. This is one of those ones where, like, not every exclusion, most exclusions represent some breaking of a magic, some degeneracy, some like boundary condition or something. This is one of those ones where I think it's not maybe properly set up. Like, could you see this coming ahead of time? Yeah, this description is going to be right here. No, the description of this spell is going to be like right here. I'm going to look at this on the map real quick. This is on Darwin. So we just look for the blob that looks like Australia. Do I know what Australia looks like? Am I wrong? Oh, that's breeding. This is Spiral Island. I'll find it. Just... No, that's fine. I do appreciate the input. I appreciate the comments and stuff, especially if they help hone the thing. It is a okay. Does this have a name? Papillion. Oh, it's right there. Oh, geez, that's small. Okay. Yeah, that's fine. Tip of an island. Tip of a weird spiral island. Polearms or spears? Can you ward against predictive magics? No. Or not most of them. Like, I think there are some predictive magics that you can ward against, but it's just, like... I think it's necessary to not be able to ward against them, because then warding is, like, at the top of the list and just destroys every single predictive magic. So if you want predictive magics, you can't have warding affect them. Which is fine. I just think that it's a necessary world building thing that you can't ward against them, and then the why you can't ward against them, we'd have to go into like the physics of magic, which I don't want to do. Which I think is reasonable to not want to do it. Oh my gosh, been up an hour and still have not even finished this. Foreordained is a sword. Are you? It's just foreordained. It's not foreordained. Yeah, but this is the right word. It looks wrong to me. This should be earlier. Okay, well, but then why? Oh no, it does include the E. It just didn't. It doesn't think that this is incorrect for some reason. And you go to define it, and it's like actually different spelling. Okay, that's why it doesn't look right. It's just Google just being Google. It's just docs being docs. That's fine. Also, this doc is reaching the point where it is almost too long. I might have to split it in two. Foreordained. Wow, so that's like really wrong. I thought it told me that was wrong before. Anyway, moving on. It still looks weird to me. Because it's a word I don't use, probably. Okay. The full list of known activation can... Various attempts to disrupt. Okay, I think that's fine. I think I do want that paragraph up here, and I do like that this is the like chaotic systems. This is like kind of a bad luck zone, which I kind of like. Kind of like, and I kind of don't like. I'm fine rolling with it for now. Once written, it's very unlikely that I'm gonna like substantially go back and change something. But I like the idea that you cast a spell that by luck anyone, like any of the soldiers, are gonna die, and then it sticks around, and anyone who looks too much like a soldier is going to die still through mysterious circumstances. Terminology thing. Yeah, that's a good note. I don't know what to do about it. Well, okay, so the thing is, if you have magic which can see in the future, it needs to, I guess doesn't need to, but it should. Well, okay. You have magic that can see into the future and just like show you as through a video screen what it sees. But then you need, because it's then like a feedback loop, it either needs to not take account of you looking at the screen at all, or it needs to absolutely take account of you looking at the screen, or some other like variance on that. So it's future sight is a hard thing. There's a reason there's almost no future sight at all within Worth the Candle. Because it's just, well, there's the library, but they never like fight an enemy that has future sight. I mean, except the Doris Finch fight, but that's that's a very very weak probabilistic future sight, which is easily defeated. Or I guess not easily defeated, but like circumvented a little bit. Yeah, very imperfect. Which is good, because then I don't need to worry about a bunch of stuff. Okay. I think the bridge between these two concepts is still a little weak. I'm gonna leave it as it is because this is long enough, and oh, I was gonna say no more butterfly mages. Okay, and then we don't really say much about like what does the actual geographic area look like. That's fine. Yeah, are pathists known? The whole thing is pointless. Which is fine. Okay. Right. I almost put ectads. Not a thing in Worth the Candle. Uh, yeah, Elfluck. Druidism is not going to be included because there's a specific druid ritual of Yaxid, whatever, or whatever it was called. Are some entads above butterfly magic and some not? All entads have the same general priority. They just war with each other. Um, I think the name for them is metamaterials in Worth the Candle. Actually, no, I think that there is no name for them, but there are. Here, I'm actually going to include memes in that. I'm not going to include anti-memes because I don't think that's known enough for this document, and I also like the idea of anti-memes being excluded from a list. That it's funny. Objectively funny, in fact. There is a question in here, probably like a question you could pose about if two butterfly mages are going against each other, does the second one to act always have priority over the first? I think that's going to go unanswered here. It's kind of academic, and in my opinion, uninteresting and unnecessary. It's a personal preference thing. I think this is fine. All right, I'm gonna be done with this one. I'm unsure on it. Sometimes you finish something and you're like, maybe I should just like delete this entire thing, and then I'm not deleting the entire thing. I'm getting word count. But I think the bridge between these two concepts, the like bad luck superstition thing and the actual zone. Oh, it's terrible stats. 900 words, 1 hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, that's not good. I'm going to get some water, and then I'm going to do breeding. I'm going to do 2 today. This one I think is a little easier. It is not in person. This is an isolationist Earth species. Major zone. This is called the... Here, let me look at my list of things. I think we have it, Ches. Yeah. I think G's is going to be something else. I think this is going to be... No, we have a Fez too, right? B-Fez. D-Fez. This is also one of those things that tickles me. Just have like G-Fez. B-Fez. Did I double up there? D. C. G. DCG B V. Okay, I think that's fine. I think this is going to be the FEZ. And they will wear fezzes. Are we naming it breeding? Does it have a name here? Oh, it's Mendel. Yeah. Well, looks like we did use Mez before. I think so is, yeah. Well, we'll not use anything special for this. It'll just be the Mez. Date. This is for sure Second Empire. Second Empire ruins everything. We can do Emphas. I was going to do a date. We're going to do 231 FE. Okay, and also this one I don't think is mentioned in. I think all mentions of breeding are breeding programs from the Second Empire, breeding grounds. Blue in the Bottle's breeding program. It's always kingly breeding, inbreeding, crossbreeding. Oh, breeding flowers, yeah. Okay, this magic must not be mentioned at all. I thought it was one that was like mentioned in passing. The Psyfriend, what is that? Psyfriend, yeah, Alex Psyfriend, which is of course an anagram for Alfred Kinsey. Double check that this is in minor. Why is that a minor exclusion zone? You know what? Because it is. I'll put that in there. Alfred Kinsey was an American sex researcher in the 60s, 70s, maybe even the early 50s. But he wrote. I don't remember the name of it. He wrote, did a bunch of somewhat scientifically dubious studies on human sexuality. He was actually an entomologist by trade, and did some of the first studies on human sexuality, and wrote some books. And his book on male sexuality was very well received and made him pretty famous. And then his book on female sexuality, people thought was just him being kinky or something. I don't know. It was like a dumb thing. Like the male sexuality was fine. People are like, oh yes, like very scientifically interesting. And he published the female sexuality one. People are like, wow, you just like you're just doing this to get off, which is somewhat historically backed up from like interviews with people and notes and stuff. I actually don't know what Alfred Kinsey looks like. In my mind, he is, as he is in the book, or not in the book, in the, there was a movie called Kinsey, and I think he was played by, I gotta look it up. This is totally incidental. Liam Neeson, yeah. I was gonna say one of the Star Wars guys. But Kinsey, the movie, was based on a book by T.C. Doyle, who wrote The Inner Circle, which is it's totally off topic, but The Inner Circle by T.C. Doyle is like historical fiction, and has like this fictionalized research assistant who falls in with Kinsey and has his life kind of like screwed up by him. But then the movie Kinsey is based on the book The Inner Circle, except that it's from Kinsey's perspective and paints him as a much more sympathetic guy, which I found extremely interesting. You don't see that very often, where they just like change the viewpoint character in an adaptation and like change how everything feels because of that, because you've changed the viewpoint character, like you've changed the protagonist. And yeah, my personal opinion on Kinsey is that very scientifically dubious stuff, but he was one of the first. A lot of it was prurient interest on his part. He's just rather than being scientific, he did a lot of interviews with people who that like skewed his data, and a lot of his data wasn't good because of that. And I don't know. He's an interesting guy. But Alex Seifried is an anagram for Alfred Kinsey, and because I find Kinsey an interesting historical figure, Masters and Johnson was also are also pretty interesting. A lot of the sex researchers, like I think you get into sex researcher into that role not because you are like I think academic interest is not the thing that gets you interested in sex research usually, or at least from what I have read of these numerous sex researchers. Now, some of them are tarred by conservatives and religious people who, because they're just like trying to research sex. It's important research to do. It's just like some of the people who've been doing it, not the greatest people, or not the most academically inclined. Kinsey especially. I mean, because he wasn't a sociologist. He was a bug researcher. I'm gonna fill my water, and then I will be back, and I will start on this one. It's gonna have absolutely nothing to do with any of the stuff I was just talking about, and then we'll get on with it. Oh, and I think the Kinsey scale is actually mentioned in Worth the Candle. Like I know Kinsey that's mentioned. I don't think the Kinsey scale is, but it's one of those academically slightly dubious things. There is a part where so one of the problems with the Kinsey scale is that not a problem, but one of the manipulations of the Kinsey scale is that it starts at 0. It is a scale of human sexuality, like it's a scale of homosexuality, I guess. I don't know how you'd phrase that. So there are a couple of problems with it, but the basis of the scale is that you say 0, I am completely heterosexual, I'm only attracted to the opposite sex, or you say 6, I am completely homosexual, I'm only attracted to the same sex. And it was put like you look at something like that and you're like, why is it 0 to 6 instead of 1 to 7, right? And it's because you will get more like people are more likely to say 1 than they are on a 1 to 7 scale than they are to say 0 on a 0 to 6 scale, and you do it like that because you want to manipulate the results. But that's used in Worth the Candle, where Fenn specifically. Well, no, you just ask on a questionnaire, right? You just ask. You just say, like, would you put yourself on, like, you say those are the ends of the scales, and are you a 0 or are you a 6? The other problem with it is that it takes this very it puts homosexuality and heterosexuality on a scale where those are like opposite ends. It doesn't have other modes of attraction, you know? Like, it's not how actual attraction, sexual attraction works is not on a like two-dimensional scale like that. Which I don't think he like knew at the time. I don't fault him for that, but he did try to influence what people would say by having the scale start at 0, because he knew that people would be okay saying like a 1 rather than that's the same as putting yourself as a 2 on a 1 to 7 scale, which most people wouldn't do. It's a social manipulation, data manipulation type thing to do. But it shows up in Worth Candle. Fenn says, here, I'm going to find it, because it's... Fenn says this. This was because of the Kinsey scale. This thing right here from chapter something or other. Yeah. Fenn uses this 0 to 9 scale because of that, in order to compel a 1. I don't know if this, like, how intentional that is on her part, but I was thinking of the Kinsey scale when I wrote that. Okay, digression's over. I've been streaming for an hour and 35 minutes. I've only gotten one of these done. There's no work done on this. Breeding. Oh, breeding is included in this document, though. It's not included elsewhere. No, Second Empire breeding programs. Every hit for breeding has to turn up Second Empire breeding programs. Is that it, though? Yeah, 2 Second Empire breeding programs. I thought there was more, but... Okay, why is it F? Mendel... Someone suggested something, and that's why I put F and I cannot remember. Fauna. Oh, what was the previous exclusion? It is right here. It is from the Wiffle. Here. And that's the sentence from earlier in this very document. I definitely deleted that before I need to. Oh, I can turn Papillion to a nice red. Why red for complete and green for incomplete? I do not know. This says fauna. It doesn't say flora. So is this animals only? Let's say yes. I guess you can't breed. You can breed plants, but we're gonna say this is animal only. Oh, okay. So right, because Mendel did the P. That would make more sense for it to be flora, but whatever. No, the previous breeding one was this creationism one. This is like the not opposite of that, but it's the closest one. They're very conceptually close. Oh, right. It can be plants. Duh. Okay. I'm just checking that's capitalized, but it apparently is not. Who needs style guides when you can just like search through the entire document for all instances of something every single time? I'm not going to reuse the phrase flora and fauna. That's an incorrect use of the phrase de novo, isn't it? Okay, yeah, that's actually not incorrect. Good on me. Gotta use that Latin where you can. Yeah, create many species of flora and fauna throughout ARB's history. Parthenogenetic. Parthenogenetic. Is this correct? I wish. Parthenogenesis. Parthenogen. I think that's not right. Okay. Where's my... Okay. Yeah, I know having me look up words is not the What is the adjectival form of this? That's all I want to know. So it's used, the term parthenogenetic is used here to refer to offspring. All right, whatever. I'm gonna try to be more correct. I believe that is correct. And yes, it is used in the text. Dwarves are an example of a parthenogenetic, or a species with parthenogenetic offspring, sometimes. Okay. Yes, that is. I don't think parthenogenetic species is correct, or if it's correct, it's just one of those things that I'm not sure an actual biological expert would use. And I'm an author, not a expert on anything except. I was gonna say software engineering, but I've been out of the game for 6 years, so I'm not an expert on that either, and probably never was. So I've been thinking I have too many Second Empire exclusions, but also that's like canonically a bunch of exclusions happened during the Second Empire. So I guess I guess that's a bullet that I just bite. But the repetition thing makes that maybe not as good. I also don't know what order I'm going to release these in. I thought it might be interesting to have them released in chronological order, because every one of these has been given a date. And then I was thinking, well, no, that means you front load all the Uther ones, and then you have a long stretch of maybe somewhat similar Second Empire ones, and then you have like the late, or the more somewhat more story centric late ones, and then you're clumping up all the ones, because if I do this like one exclusion a day, which was my plan, I don't know, it feels weird to do it that way. So I don't know what order these are going to be in. I kind of just want to randomize the order, or have an ordering which is optimized for interest, at least a little bit, so that you're getting dissimilar ones next to each other. You're getting a lot of variety. If you come once every day, every day will be slightly different from the past. It's a thing I've been thinking about. I would like some input on that if you have opinions, but I'll figure something out. That's not how you spell populous. I mean, it is how you spell populous, but it's not. That's the wrong form. It's the you want the noun, not the adjective. See, Google is good sometimes. Sometimes it helps you avoid an actual legitimate writing mistake. Yep. In a wiki. Putting it in a wiki would be interesting. I think each entry is gonna be its own specific chapter on Archive of Our Own, but I might also put in the work to make this exclusion stock. To make this exclusion stock filter by color, yeah. No, I think these are all. Oh, yes, this is incorrect. These are spelled differently there. Maybe it was like, yeah, that's close enough, which is great for a spell checker to do. Oh. Well, then why is... Oh, it's because I spelled it so wrong that it did not pick up on what I was trying to do. Common spell check error. By which I mean me being bad enough at spelling that the spell checker can't save me. This is much more an in-universe text, and I would like pictures on all of it too, which is part of why it's going on Archive of Our Own. I think it would be interesting to take this exclusions list, clean it up, and have like individual links to entries. I've never used Notion. I don't even know what Notion is. So I'm probably not going to use it for some new thing, but I think it would be interesting to have this, clean it up, have these descriptions be less like my random thoughts and more an actual description of it. And, oh, this after 119. Want to make sure. 231. Okay, good. Why is it after 119? Why is it after 119? After Solace was born? What? Oh, after Wiffle. That's why. I was like, what in the world? Why is it after this one specific date? Okay. I'm seeing a few to-dos as I scroll through here. We deal with that. Boldler would probably have words disappearing from a page. I think you could do that. Some of them are by necessity going to be more abstract. But yeah, I would love to. I might do it with Midjourney. I might just pay the $30 to have Midjourney for a month and see if I can get something workable for each of these. but we'll see. That'll probably be one of the last things that I do. But I could try using Midjourney or just a combination of things. It's also possible that I would put out a bounty for pictures and see how that works. Like I'll pay you, I'll pay you if you make adequate pictures for this. Because I kind of don't want to like spend the time making 80 pictures because the models are kind of fiddly. And for some of them, it's easy. Well, no, I'm going to generate the pictures. There's no question that I'm going to generate the pictures. But Dolly, Midjourney, Wombo is not very good. And it's okay. It's okay for some things. The old Wombo was better with the abstract stuff. Stable Diffusion. I don't know. I might put out a bounty and just be like, hey, I will pay you like, I don't know. I also don't want to put a bunch of money into this thing that not that many people are going to read for the pictures. So maybe I will just spend some money and my own time to try to do like one picture for each of these. It's one of the things I've been thinking about because I do think that especially for world building documents, which this is, it might actually end up being longer than the actual world building document, which is like horrifically long. Like a world building document that 43,000 words. This might end up longer than that. It actually almost certainly will end up longer than that, even if I start cutting some stuff. Like not doing certain exclusions that are just more work that I've done for myself. There won't be 5 more trial models. It doesn't like 5 more trial models in a month. Stable Diffusion will be out. Okay, yeah, maybe 5. I was gonna say that this doc will be done in a month. I don't know that that's true. Let me see the 37. No, I have 47 left. This is not gonna be done in a month. It's not going to be done in a month because I'm not going to work on it every single day, and then some days I'll only do one, or whatever. So, yeah, it's not going to be done in a month. So, yeah, probably 5 more trial models. That's fair. I might. I might try to see if there's a way to open this doc to the public or the Discord or whatever, and see if and just have like collect links for candidate images for these. That might be a way to do it. I don't know. I don't really want to make 80 or even 60 images for each of these, but I do think it would help a lot in the way that because I want to make this good. I don't want to just fulfill the terms that I set for myself for Patreon, but I do want to make it good. 3 minutes and 5 days. Okay. It's still great without pictures. Well, thank you for saying that. I go back and forth. I don't like all these entries. Some of them I'm just like, this has like an obvious weakness. This has an obvious weakness that I think if I post it, everyone's going to point out the obvious weakness of the entry. And I'm fine producing flawed writing. I try not to let perfectionist impulses, because there's been stuff, before I started putting stuff online, I would like write a novel and go over it a few times and restructure, and you spend all this time and you don't know if you're actually making it better. So I really have tried to carve out that impulse to just constantly tinker with things and only tinker with them enough to be like picking the low-hanging fruit, to be making it actually better, picking the low-hanging fruit. Nope, species. I'm going to remove that because it's a little too creepy. I don't like the idea of someone with breeding magic needing to like sit there for the sex act. That's just gross in a way that does not enhance this entry for me. I do also like that feeling of you're reading something. Right, no. So you're imagining a guy in a coat watching people do the breeding. I think that's weird in a way that I don't want. It's also interesting. But is it interesting? I don't know. I mean, fertilization... Okay. I thought there was... Okay, external fertilization. Oviparous. Mute Discord again. I did not mute it for long enough because I did not think. And there's a bunch of stuff I want to read on Discord. Early bird stuff and Glenmorden stuff and whatever, but... Chapter by chapter, take me to mortal species. Go. Wait a sec. Oh yeah, Gods is there. It's still, it's there because this is my personal archive of our own. I don't think it's. No, I think tongue babies are. I was thinking about the tongue, but then the tongue are so central to so much. To like they're mentioned so much. Oh yeah, the Howland. The weird one. I think it's the Igno. I think the Igno are the ones that I want. No, except an Igno has sex with a guy. And I don't... Like, potentially you could have both internal and external fertilization. Why am I spending so much time on this? Can't be that. Can't be Lency. Can't be Ladonna. Could be Mezzin. As, like, externally fertilizing egg layers? No, because they're used in... they're used in a side story. They're used in a side story and are, I think, would have been noted there. Shellbacks. Are shellbacks just like mentioned here and then just like never ever used? I think so. I think it's gonna be Tyewood. You know, this could just be dwarves. Dwarves aren't egg laying, obviously. Oh yeah, the ocean's gross. Fish pee in it. Seawater still tastes delicious, though. Yeah, if you like, if you like fish pee. Um. All right, so if I was going to drink something and I asked you if it had pee in it, and you were like, oh, well, it doesn't have that much pee, or you said, it depends on what your definition of pee is, I would not drink that thing. I'm not actually arguing that, don't go into the ocean because it has fish pee in it. I just think that's the logic there is not appealing to me personally. Tier. Is this too horrible? That's a question I'm asking myself. Is this too horrible? I don't think so. Like, I think it's horrible. I don't think it's too horrible. It gives me that, like, sinking feeling. But that's kind of what I'm going for, I guess. It's horrible in that, like, clinical detached way that I always think eugenics is horrible. Or the clinical detached way that I think like utilitarianism can be horrible. It's the Second Empire, yeah. How do they choose mutations? I don't think it's going to be in here, but it's sort of an understanding of eventual traits. It's trait selection rather than they don't think about it and then it happens. They have to choose from available traits at the moment of fertilization without any like understanding of what's going on at the cell level. So I like the idea that this magic is basically just nano telekinesis to like create the fertilization. there's a lot of, I mean, and yeah, I don't think it's gonna be in there, but it's the idea that it is a nanotelekinesis, that they're not even really aware that that's what they're doing, to select a specific sperm for an egg, or to have the egg select a sperm, because I think that's modern understanding of how it works. And I don't know how it's different in like fish or reptile species or whatever. Um, there was an interesting thing I read probably a couple months ago, was this like reaction to the understanding of the world, because people didn't really know about sperm for a while, and they had all these like dumb understandings of what was actually happening for fertilization, which they didn't know was fertilization, and a lot of that dumb stuff is good fodder for world building. Like they like people, maybe even 300 years ago thought that maybe the way it worked is people had sex, and that was the male planting a seed inside the female, which is wrong. And then they found out, through science, that there's one egg, usually one egg, and like just millions of sperm, and it is one of those things that once you know it, changes your understanding of the world. And there were people who heard that and they were like, no, that can't be true. That would be so incredibly wasteful of life, you know. Not going into that here at all, but it's one of the things that I think about in the context of like history and stuff. That like these understandings of how things worked, and how an understanding of how things actually work, it changes worldview and stuff like that. It's a tangent. None of that stuff's going in here. I don't even think the micro telekinesis thing is going in here. It's interesting, but it's not. I don't know. It's not that interesting. I don't think. I might change my mind on that. Just checking my timeline again. Second number here is 320. Captors is the wrong word here. I'm going to take a quick break to the bathroom, and then I'll be back and hopefully not be doing the stream for like 3 hours. This is pretty close to done. It needs a features section, but I like this idea that you create the ultimate species and then they like rebel against you and your inhumanity. But yeah, I'll be back in like a minute. Oh yeah, I did not set an ad break because I don't know what an ad break. I mean I know what an ad break is, but I don't know how to do that. I've got this like Steam thing. I also didn't set the be right back thing either. Oh my god, there's a draw mode. That's amazing. Okay. Sorry, I was just looking for the ad break thing. Apparently I can just draw straight on the screen and I don't need to open MS Paint. This changes everything. Okay. All right. See, saved by grammar check again. Synergy between breeding and creationism. You can create something with creationism and then breed it better than it started. So good synergies, yes. Um, no. What does the prefix mean? Means before? Original, earliest? Yeah, okay, I need to change that then. I think well, is like original, but it's also like there's a different use of to mean like urine. I'm hoping they have an example of this. Okay. Like, hero doesn't mean first hero, right? Yeah. Okay. Maybe I'm just 100% wrong here. I'll figure out what to change this to. I liked this because it sounds a little bit like Uther. So that's mostly what it was used for. It was the pun. I will come back to that. Like, the Second Empire created itself in the image, or what they thought was the image of Uther. So, tier is... it's not a good pun. It's not a good play on words, but that's what I was going for. But I agree that it doesn't work well. So I'm gonna to do that. I'm not gonna fix this today. I think I was using to maybe mean prototypical. Meaning that you create them as like the Model T of species. It's like the first one, the standard that you're setting. I think that's the way that I possibly sometimes have used which is not correct, or is not, or is a stretch at least. I'm going to go with not correct. I'm going to try not to get sidetracked by that. I'll fix this and just probably put something else there. But I was like, oh, we can almost make a pun there, and I'll stretch for a pun. Oh, this is still in history, huh? Features. Okay. Is there anything else? Yes, I was going to include the note about this being a minor exclusion. Keep that to do, obviously. Boo. This doesn't get into some of the structural forces that make a nation, like aside from this nation, a nation to be like super isolationist. Usually it's threats from the outside. It's some of it's like ideology. Sometimes it's just to prevent war. Sometimes it's cultural cohesion. There are a lot of reasons that a nation ends up isolationist, and I don't think this is going to get into any of them, which is maybe not for the best, but we'll see. Okay, I think this is good. I think this is fine. I like this. It works for me. 700. Okay, so then the total for this for today's extremely long stream is 1,600 over 2.5 hours. Whatever. I'm happy with both of those. Happy-ish. I do think that the Butterfly Magic has some problems to it. Let's see. Filter by color. White. Is the area occupied by them the same size as the zone? Let me go back and include a line about that, because I do think it's interesting enough. Nostrail? Bacon time, save me. Not Strail. Let's say other cities. I do kind of want a note from someone. Yeah, so the actual zone is just where breeding is excluded, but bred species can leave. They just control all the breeding magic, which is why the breeding magic has no further impact on the world. Um, okay, and I like that note too. So, great. Oh, fudge. I was going to go through this and just like do some more stuff. I'll probably do that off stream. Okay. Mentalism is from Dark Wizard of Dunkirk. Sorry, I said I was gonna do this off stream. I'm not done streaming yet. I'm gonna figure this out. Why would mentalism be excluded? Here, I'm just gonna do this. What is this? A crossover episode? We'll have this be like mentalism from Dunkirk, some kind of like self-replicating. Carollism. Well, okay, I'm not gonna do carollism right now. These just say alternate dimensions. 3 alternate dimensions, like whatever. And then psionics should be on here. Right. Detached psionic creations. I do like the non-exponential bit there. Wait, Juniper was just mentioning psionics. Okay, funnel magic. I'm just going to search Discord for funnel because I swear I mentioned a thing about this. Oh, that's... I saw I was looking through Discord. I'm not going to show you my view of Discord, but I was looking through Discord and I was like... I saw my picture, and it's the bot Quill describing funnel magic. That might actually have been what I thought about. The when I was thinking about funnel magic, I think it might have just been Quill saying a bunch of dumb stuff. Levitating objects. Okay, so we're gonna make some. I'm gonna possibly make some notes for myself. Funnel magic. I'm just gonna put these in like double parentheses. To just say. I think that's my starting point for funnel magic. Force magic. Like I don't want to do all these. I think this is the lost person magic. 'Cause one of the things isn't a person. No, I said it would be an insert in the exclusion magic. I just, I know that I had an idea for it. And it's not on this list, which means that when I was going through this, I was just getting tired. And I don't think I wrote the idea down. So I'm going to try to find what this idea was. But if it ever existed, I don't know. One other magic used by Gatesmith, huh? Yeah, I do. That is true. Well, I need another associated magic. I don't need this is a list of zones. It's not a list of magics. So that's fine. That not kinky is a joke. I mean, it's not going to be kinky, but that's just a joke for myself. Okay, and then force magic is I don't know. I'll think about it. I've been streaming, which means I've been writing ish for like 2.5 hours, almost 3 hours. I'm gonna call it here. Oh no, I need to pick what I'm doing. I want to do curses. And I want to do dream walking. I mean, this says unknown location. Does Bacon Time have something for this? Is dream walking not on map? Okay. I believe it, like... And then, sorry, I'm just going to check. This is the Greater Blasphemy. Control-Shift-V. Okay. Okay, so I still need a Jurassic Park. That's right. I don't need like 4 freaking to-dos about it. Okay, three freaking to-dos. Okay. And so this one is going to be Blasphemy. And then this one is going to be what I just like dreamwalking. I'm going to put in Star Wars with question marks. I need to think about that, but I'm on board for it. Funnel Magic. I swear I had something for this, and it's really annoying me that I might have to search Google Drive, but I don't want to do that on stream because I got a bunch of stuff in. Okay, and yes, I will do the BL Easy. Blez. Okay, I'm done stealing stuff from chat. Okay, yeah. So I am, when we're done streaming, thank you for joining me, especially if you were here the whole time, because that's a long time to be, I mean, I'm sure you had it in a second monitor or whatever, but, thanks for the company. I had a good time with the stream today. I don't always have a wonderful time, but, today was wonderful. So, thanks. Creationism can be marked in red. It is. I think everything here. Let me just filter by color. None. Yeah, creationism. Yeah. So we got 2 down. That means that we have 45 to go. And I'm not doing all these. I'm not doing all these at all. But it's a question of what I'm going to cut. I'd like to make sure the numbers match up in terms of different exclusions and stuff. But yeah, that's the stream for today. Thanks for joining me.